So it's 7, so I'll call the meeting to order. It's July 10th, 2025. Climate Change Committee. Let's see. Well, actually, since Chris Mason isn't here yet, let's go ahead and talk to Chris D.
Sure.
About, so I don't know if any of you guys have
Perfect
this-
timing.
The project, hi Marion.
Hi.
Project narrative.
Catalina.
So it lists, these are the quotes
Yeah.
that we have. They're changing, the LED, the lighting, I guess, will change, but probably, hopefully not by much. And, what else? I guess the insulation is not gonna change, we're just gonna throw that in there.
He said today that he would, add that in and we would use the same cost and energy savings as before. So,
Kathy, I wonder, should we take a moment and just have everybody do introductions so people know who's here and all
Okay,
that?
I thought we all knew each other.
Well, and also we have some
Oh, good, here's
guests.
Catalina.
Oh, and this is good timing for Catalina to
Catalina,
join us.
yeah.
So
Catalina, we're just starting
We all
now.
know each other.
Yeah,
This is Chris Desjardins, he's the finance director of the schools.
for the Hadley schools.
Okay.
And he's the one that is getting these quotes for the work done at the schools and having to deal directly with all that.
Oh,
So-
and
What-
we can have the members of the audience introduce themselves too.
Why?
Should we go around and say our names?
Yeah, we should do
Yeah.
that first.
Yeah.
We should, so it can go
Okay.
into the record.
She knows I know.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Give me a minute. I'm about to take minutes. Okay.
Hi, Chris. Come on in. Welcome. You can join us right at the table. Are you coming from Greenfield?
Hey, Chris,
much-
why don't you come up
Okay.
here?
okay.
I don't really want to.
Okay.
We've talked about that before.
I don't like doing
Higher.
it. Okay, so does everybody know who Chris Mason is?
We need to go around.
Hello, nice.
Chris Mason.
I'm
I'm with the state's Department of Energy Resources, the Green Communities Program.
Oh,
I'm the
thank you.
regional coordinator for Western Mass.
Mhm. Thank you. Catalina Arrubla,
Member?
member.
Kathy Najola, member.
And co-chair.
And co-chair.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta say it.
Jack Zykowski, member.
Marion Parker, member.
You know me.
Yes.
And this is Chris Desjardins
Desjardins,
from
of course.
the schools.
Yes.
Okay, so what we were starting to talk about first was, we still have about $15,000 to use from our designation grant. So we need to decide and get a quote and allocate that.
Right.
So Chris has a pretty good knowledge of what's what at the schools. So do you want to talk about how you think we could use
Sure.
that money?
Yeah, so I spoke with Kyle today. I've been speaking with him off and on for the past several
Yeah,
weeks,
Kyle.
just trying to move things along. And he's going to give us pricing on, we already have some items that we've gotten the pricing on. I noticed that there was an area in the building right above the stage where you can just see the metal roof. I mean, there's not a bit of insulation there at all. And so I just said to him, hey, we should get that done too. It's crazy not to. And so he agreed, and he came out, they looked at the building, and they said, okay, we'll add that in. Then today, he kind of just said, well, we'll just kind of add that in without actually changing anything. So that was good news, but he did say he was going to price out other things too, in case we wanted to just, add things or,
Yeah.
or, if we changed our mind on some things.
Does he have any idea how much more money we can spend?
I don't think he does, and I really didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, now you probably should. So
Okay.
that there's no point in picking something that costs $50,000.
Right,
Because we
right,
can't.
yeah.
So did he offer any suggestions on who to have for a vendor for making that
Well,
repair of the
they
roof?
do.
They would do it.
They do
They
it.
would do it?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
And I do meet tomorrow with Lazat Glass for the doors replacement and sealing. Again, that was another one that, they had a lot of projects in various school districts and towns. They had to get them all done by June 30th, so I waited until almost June 30th, and I said, okay, June 30th is almost here, let's meet. And he said that we could meet tomorrow morning, so,
Okay.
so we will meet tomorrow morning, and I'm hoping, once we meet, then he'll be good to go. I mean, he already gave us revised pricing, because it had been so long since we got the original quote, so we're good with that. I think we're ready to go.
How about the weather stripping on the doors?
That's included in what he gave us,
All
yeah.
right. Nice.
Yeah, that's a big deal,
It is a big deal.
yeah. Yeah, those doors, some of them have a good half an inch of just open space.
Is it true what I heard before, that you're going to have to swap out over the course of the year, just because of seasonal reasons?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, when we, as a typical, like a homeowner or something almost, when you seal a door, you go to Home Depot and you buy some door seal kit, and it's not the most high-tech thing, but they have access to much better door sealing materials, and so supposedly, according to him, this will not be affected as much by the expansion and contraction, with heat and cold. So that is the goal, is that we won't be taking it off in the summer and putting it on in the winter, because, that's pretty crazy to do that. So.
It's like changing storm windows.
Right,
For
yeah.
those of us
Yeah.
who grew up in those houses.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
remember this? Oh,
Yeah.
gosh. So anything come to your mind about how we can use this 15,000, or do you want to wait and see what Kyle has to say?
I'd love to just wait and see, what else he adds in there. When we did the original
Go.
quote, he had two versions. He had one that was like $300,000, and then I said, no, let's not even go there. And he had another one that was, around 100, I think, or something. And so what I'd like to do is to take parts of the $300,000 one, that would come up to around $15,000,
Okay, all right.
and say, okay, so we have this room that you were going to do. Yeah, let's add that one room in. Anything we can get is better than nothing. So-
Right, we need to use the money.
And we don't want to
so-
give the money back, that's
No,
for sure.
and we
you know.
can't apply for the competitive grant till we've used up this grant, and if we don't use it, we lose it. So let's just figure out,
Is there a deadline?
Well, no, but the sooner,
No, I understand. I just was wondering if there's a deadline.
I don't think so.
When is the next round?
Yeah, it'll be coming out in August sometime. And generally, there's you have to be finished by a certain date, and that's probably a date in October. But the pond program opportunity notice is not out yet, so I can't say those dates are not firm at all.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We
So
did
it's-
get a grant payment in,
Yes. We got the first
34,000 and change, yeah.
25%.
From the designation grant, from
Right.
our original.
So it is
Green Communities Grant.
conceivable that if we get on it,
Mm-hmm.
it would be amazing if we were able to get quotes within a matter of a couple of months. Since this time it took us a couple
Oh
of
my
years.
God, yeah, it's
But
been tough.
anyway, it's still good to get going on it, right? Even though that's mine, I
Good,
think
it's not
we
mine.
can't apply for a competitive grant until,
You've used up the designation grant,
Right.
right? Yeah.
okay, so hopefully that's gonna happen this summer.
So Chris, I'm curious, what project are you talking about that you could do $300,000 worth or one room?
Well, the one room was just an example,
Okay.
but they gave us pricing on the entire building for insulation, and then,
Installation, okay.
like perimeter
Yeah,
areas that would be most likely to experience
Okay.
the
So maybe
effects
we
of the
could just
cold.
do more insulation.
That's exactly it, yeah. So when I said maybe just do one room, I just meant like a portion of his $300,000
Okay.
right.
version,
Installation.
so,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's one that could break it up.
So Chris, help me with a little history. So we have Hadley Elementary that was built in the 1990s.
Yep.
And we have Hopkins that was built in 1964? Is that right?
1954 and
54.
1965 was the addition.
Okay. All right, so it already has some years under
Yes,
its
it does,
belt,
yeah.
for sure. Currently, it has a steam
It does.
heating system,
Mhm.
and it has some mini splits for cooling.
It does, yes.
Okay.
And, you know, all of the heaters in the classrooms are all still original. So, you know, we're talking 70 and 60 years old for these things, so they're nearing the end of their lives too.
Yeah.
Right, but the thing is, I mean, if you look at our plan, it doesn't say anything about putting any heat pumps in until we do the building retro, the envelopes. We gotta
Yeah,
get the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
insulation.
That makes
There's
a
no
lot of
point
sense.
in upgrading
Right.
the heating system, I mean, unless it blows up and like we have. It's
Well,
a-
I didn't know if the school committee had moved any further on possible updates to the heating system of Hopkins.
Yeah, so we have the geothermal project that we're in the design phase. They're probably about 70% done with the designs now. And the problem with that project, of course, is when Eversource gave us the kind of the quick and dirty quote, they said it was going to be $3.8 million, and then there were incentives like you wouldn't believe, and the final cost was going to be $800,000 to $1 million. Well, that was for
Wow.
getting, you know, state-of-the-art,
Yeah.
really efficient heating systems that, you know, we'd save on energy usage and everything. And then the designers came in and they did the design work and they gave us their estimate, and it was around $9 million. And so that's, you know, that's a big difference. And of course now we don't know what's happening with all the incentives. You know, they're kind of up in the air. We just don't know. So
Yeah.
that's the part that makes it a little bit scary to commit, because you don't want to commit thinking you're going to get a couple $1 million in
Oh my
incentive
gosh,
and then
yeah.
find out that that got cut, you
Yeah.
know, so.
Yeah.
So it's kind of at a, all right, let's get the plans done and then let's just cool down for a bit and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm wondering, Chris, if you have any insights on how you know some of
With
these incentives?
Mass save incentives?
Or even
No, these were
federal
federal.
Well, the
incentives?
federal tax credits.
Yeah.
Federal tax credits are, I think, are in place until September 2026.
I just read an article this
Okay.
afternoon
Did I get that
about that.
Yeah, there
They're
is,
trying really hard to claw them back, but
right,
it's looking like
yeah.
you can get work done in the next couple
Yeah.
of months, you'll
'Cause it
still
was
get
at
your
30%.
credit.
September
2026. So
2020.
I think that's the date I remember.
2026.
But I'd have to dig it up and actually send it to
Yeah,
you.
there's-
That's
I
when
know.
they'll keep them in place until then.
What's
Yeah,
that?
but
No,
that's
no,
a
we were
lot.
just working some
Okay,
things out,
sorry.
but it's very much a moving target.
It is,
You know,
yeah.
That's the
so
reason
many-
you're looking at geothermal,
Yeah.
is because, 30% tax break on geothermal.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
Wait, there is a 30, still will continue to be?
For a little
past-
while, yeah.
But not
Past
long.
September 2026, or?
No, I think that's
until-
what, I think that's when it might go away.
Okay, so if we
I'll
could get it
send you guys all
approved,
this
then we would
article.
qualify before?
This isn't part of the geothermal is not part of our
Okay,
That's a
okay.
separate
committee's
thing,
work.
yeah.
Okay.
The school committee
Yeah.
is working
Okay.
on that themselves with other
Okay.
funding.
Okay,
Right.
Not-
but still,
no-
it's.
Yeah,
good
and
to
that's
Yeah,
not part of our
for us to
project. I
be
was just
aware.
wondering if Chris had a
Uh-huh.
little more insight into
Okay.
what was happening with that.
I mean, it's a great product, really, you know, I mean, you're getting the heat from the ground, essentially, you know, and the cooling, and so it's fabulous as far as that goes. It just comes down to, is it cost effective?
Yeah.
And that's a big question mark right now, just because so many
I mean,
things
to
are unknown.
install it.
Yes.
Like, can we afford it,
Yeah.
basically?
Can I just clarify something? Did you say that Eversource gave you a quote of 3.8 million and that the designers gave you a $9 million quote?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
Wait, was it Eversource or Energy?
No, it was Eversource,
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
okay, so as far as using up the 15,000, somewhere in that ballpark. Gary Berg is on vacation this week, so hopefully next week I'll hear from him about the lighting project at wastewater treatment plant. I'm drawing a blank. What's it called? Advanced Energy? Is that what it's
Yes, yeah.
They're gonna do the lighting project now. Hopefully it will be in the same ballpark cost as AMP. But we don't know. But as soon as I do know, then I'll let you know, because if that's gonna make the balance less or
Mhm.
more. Okay.
And that's the one at the wastewater energy plant? That's where they're
the light.
adjusting the lights, okay.
Yeah, lighting upgrade. Okay, so that's that. So,
If I can just
Yeah,
jump
yeah,
in.
yeah.
I feel the need to just say, you know, when we got that price quote from the designers, that's kind of unknown as well, you know, I mean, it's not like they were going out to bid, you know, there's no competitive aspect at all of that. They were just taking, well, we think it's gonna be this, you know what I mean? So that $9 million price tag that they gave could very well be 7 million, you know, or 10, we just
Right.
don't know, you know, but I mean, there's a lot of difference when you're actually having a competitive bid and people know they have to beat everybody else to get the job, you know, so.
yeah.
While you're here, though, this is a great time to ask you, if that doesn't come to pass, what's the short-term plan for energy for Hopkins?
So there were a number of plans in Eversource's document. One of them was just continuing on with, you know, the legacy systems that we have. Obviously, things would need to be replaced.
Are
at
you
this
able
point.
to get parts and such?
Well, that's the problem with it. Yes. I
We
mean,
would need new ones, right?
Yeah,
Like,
we'd
put
would
in
certainly
the
have to
same
replace
old
the
thing.
univents, yeah.
Not even more high efficiency, I mean, we wouldn't put in the same old pipe, right?
Right, I'm sure at this point in time, I mean, you know, again, 60 and 70 years old, there has to have been efficiency improvements
Yeah.
done, you know, since then.
So would it
And
be a natural gas boiler, oil?
We have tried natural gas before because it's so funny, the furnace, the boilers that we have, there is actually a switch on it, gas, oil. And we have a gas connection to the buildings and we have our oil tanks. And so one would think that, boy, if the price of gas went way down, we would just flick that switch and start saving money. The problem is that Berkshire Gas
There's a
told
motor.
us that you can't turn your switch because you're taking all the gas and no one else will get their gas. They did suggest we put in a bigger line at our cost. I think it was
I'm
down
sure they
River
did.
They're
Drive.
with Berkshire Gas?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, the cost was astronomical, obviously, to put the line in.
So you've been burning oil?
Yes.
Is that what you're doing?
So Chris, when they come up with a design for a geothermal system, I mean, they have to come up with a new distribution system as well. And it has to tie into the ventilation system.
Mhm.
In other words, those univents are probably not going to stay.
No, they're not.
Right, so if that price is out somehow, then, you know, one of the expenses of a geothermal system is drilling the wells and stuff.
Mhm.
So you could look, I mean, someone could look at an air source instead of a ground source. So, you know, you still probably need the same distribution system.
Mhm.
So that engineering could be used, probably. I mean, I don't know, because I don't know this specific project.
Yeah.
Was that considered using air source instead of?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Yeah, they may not have until then, right. And then, when I worked in Northampton, I had a similar experience where we designed, it was an air source system, but it was a variable refrigerant flow for Leeds Elementary School, the old part of the building. And when we went out and finally got an estimator, a professional estimator to give us a price, the price was way higher. And as we looked into, when, you know, they estimated it out, they gave the reasons, and when we looked into it, we realized, so VRF system has to run a lot of pipes. A lot of pipes have a lot of solder and stuff, and that just drove the labor way up. So we said, okay, we could do the same kind of thing, just not with the fancy VRF, which is kind of more of a Cadillac.
What's VRF?
Variable refrigerant flow. It actually allows you to move heat around the building. So if you have a south side of a building that's got really a lot
Heats way up.
of, it heats way up, and the north side gets really cold, you can just move the heat from one side to the other. So you can move the heat around the building. And, you know, you can imagine in some buildings that's very useful. In other buildings, it's not so useful. And the one we were looking at, it would have been useful, but it wasn't essential. So I think the city is now going forward with a much simpler system that's not going to move heat around the building.
Is it
But
geothermal or air?
No, air source. So they're going to be going with just mini splits, basically, an outside unit and an inside unit. And then they're going to replace their ventilation system,
Right.
because, you know, you're getting rid of the old ventilation system.
Well, it'll
So
be better automated and
The main
stuff,
point
right?
is you could probably still stick with the heat pump system, but just, you know, modified
Mhm.
in some ways. I don't know your system, I don't know the design, I don't know what they have there, but just as you move forward, keep in mind that it may not be just the same things that Eversource first said at the very beginning. There may be some way of finding a compromise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of the, we had them drill extra deep as well in the test
Uh-huh.
bore that they did, just to see, if we could drill deeper
Yeah.
and maybe have less wells. And it was good we did that. I mean, it's a very
Was that
interesting
the
property
case?
there.
Would that work?
It would, yeah. And we didn't hit bedrock until 210 feet, which they had hoped would have been a lot higher up than that.
They hoped it would?
Well, by higher up, I mean higher toward the surface of the ground. So they would have to drill a lot less than that. And it's interesting because they had 40 feet of clay, no, 40 feet of topsoil, and then 170 feet of clay, and then they hit the rock. And I know when we did the athletic field project, we dug a trench for the electrical to go to the scoreboards, and this is 200 feet away from where they drilled the hole, and they hit clay at about 3 feet. So the property is
Interesting.
just wildly different depending on where you drill. And so, it might even be the case where, well, instead of drilling them there, you might want to drill over here or something.
Uh-huh.
But it's tricky without doing another test bore, how do you know? So,
Interesting.
yeah.
So you already have mini splits at Hadley Elementary
Mhm.
and at Hopkins.
We do, yes.
For air conditioning.
For air conditioning, is there any way to draw heat off those or not necessarily?
They do produce heat as well.
But they're sized for air conditioning, I bet you. I mean, if they were put in for air conditioning, they're probably sized for air conditioning,
I believe that's correct.
which
yeah.
is always a much lower load
Okay.
than the heating load.
All right.
So they would need to be replaced eventually?
Yeah, if we are to fund heat pumps, they have to be sized for heat.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
that's better in the long run anyway.
Yeah, yeah. There's no reason in investing in the technology without taking advantage of both heating and cooling.
Yeah.
They would provide, right, so.
So you have this, but don't you, so let's talk about, do we agree that it's not time to do heat pumps yet? We need to focus on,
Well, I took a look at your energy reduction plan, just to see what was left, and just get an idea. Kathy called me, and I just love it. You guys are being really proactive. Before you're finished with the designation grant, you're looking at what you want to apply for competitive grant.
well,
That's,
because it takes so long to get the quotes. I mean,
Yes.
you might as well get started.
and that's how towns that actually get a lot of money work, because they get it, they cycle through really fast, so.
Okay.
So wonderful. So I took a look through, and I realized, there's a lot of things that are just what I would call no regrets measures. You do them, and installation is a no regrets. You're always going to be happy if you tightened up a building. Things like kitchen hood controls, or a domestic hot water heat pump.
So it was insulation, kitchen hood controls. We're just getting some of these
Yeah,
things.
just some examples of things that.
Do you have your energy reduction?
I don't
plan
have it
you?
with me.
What I have is.
Do you want to let Marion look at this for a minute? Sure. Oh, do you have one you can share with us?
Thank you.
All right, she's got Chris's for now. Okay, go on.
So I'm actually not looking at your the ERP here. I'm looking at my notes from when I look through it. I can just read these if you like. So the no regrets ones I measured, I identified were, any building envelope measure, air sealing or insulation.
Which we've been working on
Yeah.
over this last year.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you guys started beautifully. I mean, you identified what I think were very wise things to begin with, so. Lighting upgrades, LEDs may still be eligible in the next grant rounds, and they are gonna go away at some point, so, looking at any lighting that you have that's not LEDs right now.
Do the schools need that upgrade, or are they already LED?
We did both schools LED. There may be some parking lot lights that remain
Yeah, I don't know what you have.
non-LED, but
Yeah.
most of the lights are done at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's kitchen.
That's one thing Gary was very good about, going through a number of buildings and doing some updating with the lighting.
Okay.
Okay,
So kitchen hood controls, you can understand, because that's just a standalone thing.
Yeah.
It just makes it.
and that's right here,
Yeah.
kitchen. Both
Domestic-
schools need that?
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, so that's, if you're looking for something else, just the last 15,000, yeah, that might be something that fits in there.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
Mhm.
Domestic hot water pipe insulation, if you're running hot water pipes.
Chris was just talking about that.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
water heater's 100 feet away from our kitchen, so a lot of loss between the two.
Right, right. So I mean, that's a no regrets thing. Heating system pipe installation, if you know the system's not gonna change. You know, if you're gonna put heating pipe, if you're gonna wrap the pipes for heating and then the next year go in and put air source heat pumps in, it's probably not a huge expense and you're gonna save something in that first year, but, you know, there's a diminishing,
I don't think we'll be doing it in a year,
yeah.
probably more like 4 or 5.
So this is more of a way of just kind of,
So what would
thinking
you
about the
suggest, if
projects.
we are gonna do it eventually?
It depends on what you do with your building. You know, if you end up, say, sticking with a legacy system, then you want to insulate all the pipes that aren't insulated, for sure. But if you are going to change over the system, then you may be just abandoning those pipes.
Right.
So do you have any sense of what the timing might look like for sticking with a legacy system or updating the system, or?
At this point, I truly don't. You know, I mean, a lot of it, as I said, depends on where things end up in
I mean,
terms
the
of
current system's
incentives
not
and
broken,
pricing.
right?
No,
It's
no,
just
it's not.
old and
Yeah.
needs to, okay.
And then the one place where, okay, so that's kind of like the no regrets ones. And then heat pumps, if you're going to look at heat pumps, if you have a building that has no mechanical ventilation, the issue where I said you might want, you need a little further engineering studies,
Oh.
and would be when you said you wanted to put heat pumps in the schools. So the geothermal, I think, is probably a really good example. They're not just putting heat pumps in. They are putting in a new distribution system. They're going to be taking care of ventilation somehow in a different way. You know, with the elementary school, they probably have univents.
They do.
They do, okay. And the univents might be their own zone, or they might not be. I'm going to give you an example of another school I went in, and we had approved.
I think they're all, like, each room you can manually, it's all manual, right?
It is, but I'd have to look and see if each room has a thermostat. That I don't know offhand.
Is that your recollection? Were you able to control the heating and cooling or no?
Yeah.
No, we were talking about the elementary school.
Okay.
It seems to me somebody said that, like, it's a lot of wasted energy because you have to manually turn it up or turn it down.
Okay, okay, well, my example, what I'm trying to get to, so there's one school I went to that we had approved heat pumps. And I went in and they did a great job installing air source heat pumps with, you know, mini splits units on the wall. And I said, well, how are you controlling these? Because you have unit vents that are fed with your boiler system. And
What's the unit?
it's a unit ventilator.
I know,
They're
but what-
really
what-
common in schools, and what they are is they're basically a fan and a coil combined in a hole in the wall.
Yeah,
So that when you need ventilation, that hole in the wall, you know, some vent opens
that
up.
hold to the outside.
Yep, and it brings in cold air, and that cold air is preheated with, you know, hydronic coils generally. And then you get tempered air coming in to replace for ventilation. And generally, it's not connected with any kind of controls. You just kind of like run it so you get ventilated air coming in. And it's really nice to actually be connected to like CO2 sensors or something like that.
Yeah,
But anyhow, and in this school, in some schools, you'll have the univent, and it's got one zone, and then you'll have that whole same bank underneath the windows. You know, I can imagine. Well, it doesn't. It's not there. There's just radiant heat the rest of the way. Again, with hydronic coils, and they might be their own zone as well. In this school, they weren't. It was, you know, radiant heat.
that was
uni-
powered how?
through a boiler. And the thing was, is if you put mini splits in, and then you wanted to use just the mini splits, you'd want to turn the boiler off. But if you turn the boiler off, all of a sudden you're blowing cold air on the kids. And so you couldn't turn the boiler off.
What a mess.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think the school is going to correct it, but it means you're really missing out on the efficiency you could have gotten out of the mini split. So
So
that's-
is that where one of these two things,
Well,
the
let me-
Eversource offered?
Yeah, maybe. So I was surprised that they only gave us those two examples, but,
They-
I mean, those two pieces, but it's not gonna be the in-depth one.
Would
what-
be the targeted solution?
What I think you guys need right now is you need someone to understand the heating system and the ventilation system of the schools. and then put
how to
together.
overhaul the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. Put together a plan for overhauling the whole thing. And then you can start picking pieces of that plan. You know, there might be an obvious way of phasing that. It might be, the first thing you do is break off the ventilation, and so you put energy recovery ventilators somehow tied to each classroom or maybe school-wide.
Is Gary your go-to person as
No.
a consultant, or who would you?
Well,
Gary
what-
Berg?
Yeah,
No.
Well, we now have this person, Nick Pettipas from Eversource, who's overseeing us
Uh-huh.
because things went so
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
screwed. And he shared these two things with me. You guys can look these over. They will come in and, like what Chris is talking about, and look at all of that and I guess design
Well-
a system for us.
Well, they
right?
have two offerings. I thought they were going to have more. They have two offerings. One of them is free, and I think in general it's very similar to what you guys have got for an energy recovery plan, your energy reduction plan. So it's really just kind of identifying the possible energy conservation measures, but I'm not positive if it would actually look at the building and say, how is this heating and cooling system working, and how do we need to modify it?
So we
Well,
need to.
I would want to have a conversation with Nick about that.
Well,
And just-
I had asked him to come
Yeah.
tonight, but he couldn't, so I'm gonna have him come.
yeah,
next
and you
time.
know, what's tricky with this is really, it seems like the school committee has taken this on.
For Hopkins.
Right.
But not for the elementary school.
Okay.
Yeah, and it sounds like, I mean, if Hopkins is designing a geothermal system, I tend to believe that they're also looking at the ventilation.
Right.
And
And
I
what
haven't,
needs
I
to
haven't seen
happen.
it, but they're really, you know, they're looking at how do you replace the entire distribution system. So I wouldn't worry about Hopkins.
Yeah.
They've got the engineering already happening, probably.
And, yeah, and that's
No,
the
that's what I'm-
70-year-old system
Yeah, I guess
that
so.
needs.
Well,
yeah.
until something happens where they just ditch the geothermal plan, at least for the conceivable future, if they, I don't think we should think about
Yeah.
heating at Hopkins. I think we should focus, both schools need the envelope retrofit.
Sure.
So,
There's other priorities.
yeah, I mean, there are these things, what Chris mentioned happen to be the same things in our energy
Yeah.
reduction plan.
That's where they came
for,
from.
Yeah, the first 3 years.
And Chris, do you know, is the whole menu of different grants coming out in August going to be different than the last few years? Or what do you expect it'll
Well,
look like?
we're coming out with a new competitive grant, and it's going to hold for 2 years. So you will get 2 cycles, spring, fall, spring, fall, spring, fall.
That we can
Um,
apply.
Well, yeah, and you can only apply for one of those.
Right.
Just, you know, once you get one, you won't be able to go after.
No,
the
but I
next.
mean, it gives us 2 opportunities if we're not ready.
Yes,
And
yes,
it'll
yes.
be
If you miss this
specific-
fall, there will be a spring opportunity.
And then it's for specific kinds of things, and we just don't know yet what those are.
Yes. I mean, you can look at the current ponds, and it's going to give you an idea of what we're funding, but we're looking at just, you know, which ones are making sense, what we're funding.
How would we, can you send that to me, or?
The current pond? Sure, yeah.
Okay, because that'll give us some idea of where to focus, even though it doesn't make any sense to think about redoing the heating system before we fix the building.
Yeah, this was just an opportunity to ask 2 people who know a lot of
Exactly,
information about
right.
it,
I mean,
a little more about it, and it really seems to be up in the air to be determined.
well, and also, I mean, we're talking about just the schools. Public safety is, I guess, a pretty big mess over there, public safety building.
Oh, I see.
That's one of our big energy wasters, and I guess a while back, Chief Spainagel got in touch with Gary with some ideas of something he wanted done over there. But anyway, Gary's not available to us tonight, so hopefully,
I wonder, do you think Chief Spanknebel can come to another meeting?
that's what I'm hoping
Yeah.
our next meeting.
Because it's really worthwhile having you
Very.
come in and just share.
Right, that's what I'm figuring. We'll talk to Chris about the schools, and then we'll hear from Gary and Chief Spainagel about the public safety building and start to put together, how much money should we be thinking about?
Competitive grant, we've been at around $220,000, up to $220,000. I think we're going to be a little bit higher. Oh, that's the next one.
Yeah, I
1.3?
think
But
with
on
our
that page-
designation grant pool, were we 140,000,
Yeah.
143,000,
That sounds
something
right.
like that?
Yep, that sounds right.
Okay.
Yep.
So we could.
And then there's,
250 maybe?
yeah, might be, yep. Don't quote me until it comes out.
No,
So
I'm
that
not.
pond's out. I can never-
No, just so we have some idea,
Yes,
you know?
yeah, exactly, right. And then, we've, the last number of years, and I'm sure we're gonna keep it, we have what we call a decarbonization grant. It's an option within the grant, it's a different structure within the grant. And that's only if you're really going to be redoing a whole school, a whole building. Because it's up to $500,000.
With that, isn't there, one of the schools has, like, the windows are a big problem.
The elementary school, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure,
The southern windows.
I still think we wouldn't fund windows.
Yeah.
Yep. But it'd
I
be.
guess they're so
That's for
old,
sure.
you can't fix them, we'd have to replace
We
them.
have tried and tried, because it's really only the bottom pane that opens that
And-
is the problem. And
Doesn't close up well or
you just,
something?
yeah, I mean, the seals, they're really kind of bizarre looking, but it's almost like they melted, because they get that southern exposure, the sun just beats on them. And so instead of just running along the building, it's kind of all squiggly and it stops halfway, It's like they shrunk and just moved up. And we've reached out to many, glass and window companies trying to just get that one pane replaced with the new seals. And
Windows are too old. or
it just
something.
doesn't seem to be an option for anyone, so.
So you have
Not like a
two,
big leaky
two walls
thing,
that
but-
are
Well,
sort of
it's-
southern exposure, some
Replacing
southern
a window is a
exposure.
very
Yeah,
expensive way to
one
seal.
side of the building is really
Well, how
the
it's
worst
really
one.
good,
Then
it's the window.
if you
another
can't-
wing
if
that's
you're gonna
somewhat southern exposure.
Close the window and
exit
keep
to-
it closed, you can put caulk around it. The
Well,
caulk
that's
is
the
really
thing.
cheap.
Those windows open, do they open and close them?
They do, yeah.
Do they have to?
Well, I
It's a
wouldn't want to be the
school.
one that
Yeah.
would tell them they couldn't.
Thank
you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they do open them, just to get
You
fresh air
really
in.
need to change the air.
Yes.
There's no two ways
I'm
about
sure.
it. Windows
Yeah.
are a capital
I think we're
improvement
positive.
that is eventually needed, and you do it, I mean, you can always say, I'm gonna save energy, and they do save a lot of energy. It makes a big difference, but not at the cost. And so what you need is, windows are falling open on people's heads. People are always freezing, their desks or their
If they're
kids.
close to the window.
Close to the windows are always freezing.
But
It's
green
generally
communities
comfort,
won't.
safety, those kind of things are what drive you to finally, you just gotta replace your windows, They're just part of maintaining a building.
So
Eventually.
you're saying that would be a maintenance cost?
Yeah.
Green communities.
Yeah, we would look at that as a capital improvement. I mean, if you were doing it as part of a much larger project, where you were really working over a whole building, we may have some money kind of subsidize the windows in there a little bit. So that's
you
what
might
that
have to
has.
do like fundraisers or something to get new windows.
Generally, it's when, a community has decided this building really needs to be rehabbed. And it goes beyond just energy efficiency. This building needs to be rehabbed for whatever reason there is. And then, we will help you with up to $500,000, make sure you do that really well. That's
So it has
that's
to be a
what,
total building rehab.
that's generally what that's what we had to bind when we had the decarbonization grant. It doesn't have to be a building rehab,
Because
but
after
that's
we do
generally
all
it.
this stuff, it'll be in pretty good shape, except for the windows.
Yeah, so maybe the decarb grant is never gonna be appropriate for you guys. That's okay. Yeah.
Boo-hoo.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll just do our best, right? Okay,
You could do a lot with the competitive grants.
but not windows.
No, I mean, you could try with a huge, if you had a really big town match going in there. And I
Yeah.
could really argue it somehow,
And it does seem that things are beyond tight when it comes to funding with the town.
At least right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think we'd have to be very hard pressed for us to just fund windows completely. Because that really is, we do look at that as a capital improvement. That's where we try to balance what's a capital improvement and what's an energy efficiency improvement, and there's overlap, but, we're not mandated to help capital improvements.
Okay.
And Chris, we know you and Chris are working overtime today. We appreciate it. I'm wondering, where does the funding come? The monies that you pay out in grants?
Yep.
Where does it come from?
It comes from the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Yeah.
What is-
otherwise known as Reggie. It's the, there's a whole bunch of Northeast states. I can't tell you which ones don't count, but it's going to be Pennsylvania, New Jersey, I'm not sure which other ones, no, most of them in New England. Anyhow, it's a cap and trade program that is meant to have the utilities shift funds towards low carbon fuel sources. And if, as part of that, you're naturally going to have some that just don't meet it. They don't meet the goals that Reggie wants. And in that case, they pay a fine instead. It's one of the ways of kind of driving that force. And that money is divvied up and comes to the states, and the states decide what they want to do with it.
Okay,
And Massachusetts has decided that a portion of that is going to go to help towns and
okay.
municipalities improve their efficiency.
So this may be way beyond your pay grade, but is that something that can change if the federal government
No.
says?
No,
Okay,
no, that is
just
a-
wondering.
Yeah.
So
All
so
right.
Green Communities is pretty solid, you don't have to worry
Yes,
about that.
yeah, the grants are,
Wow, that's
you can
great.
be pretty comfortable with the grants going to be here, yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I mean, the state has to allocate the money every year, but, so.
Okay.
So my main reason to kind of coming down, I wanted to come down here and talk because you guys really are doing great by, pre-thinking what you want for the designation grant. And when you looked at, at some point you're going to get to heat pumps for the school. And I just wanted to, basically, when you do, you're going to have to do some looking at the school. The ERP was done fine. What it did was it identified, potential, so that you knew you had potential. It was what we really wanted to identify. In many cases, it provided enough information that you could just go out and get a job done. With the heat pumps, they didn't. They didn't even describe what the heating systems were like in the energy reduction plan,
So
which is
you
fine.
want to make sure that we realize we have to look at the
Yeah,
whole
so,
ventilation.
yeah, so that one, so that's one that you're gonna, it'd be good to actually kind of find a way to get that funded and have that study done. And it might be we just talk to Eversource.
Well, that's what I want, I mean, as long as we have Nick, let's
Yeah.
get this
Yeah, let's-
information.
I
from
wanna,
him.
I wanna ask him, this is probably not what these studies normally do, but could they do this? Which, we're not asking them to price something out. We're not asking them to design the system. We're asking them to identify, how would you piece the parts
Yeah.
together?
Yeah.
And in what order and how would you phase it? And we would have an engineer help you identify all that would be very useful. And then you'd be lined up to start picking off pieces and go from
Yeah,
there.
that'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna, he's gung-ho about coming to our meeting, he just couldn't
Oh,
come
good.
tonight. So I'm gonna get in touch with him soon, go ahead and get that on his calendar for next month. So would you think you'll be talking to him between now and then?
I could.
Okay.
Yep.
Is
And
Gary?
say
Yeah.
that, you know.
Yeah,
talk to him
maybe
every
me,
time.
you and him
Nick.
should get on the
Nick.
call.
Nick.
From Eversource.
Yeah, or you would, I don't know if you want both co-chairs, one co-chair or one or two.
Might as well.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think that'd be the best thing, just have a phone call.
I mean, that's how you get into this,
Mhm.
Kathy, you just start doing it. Listen, ask questions. I ask more questions than anybody, and sometimes I think I drive people nuts, but
Yeah, and that's a really great suggestion
Yeah, just to
for
get-
you to do, for you to. think
right,
that
and
Nick
then
could
he can
do
come
that.
and talk
Yeah.
to us
See if we
about
can.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
what
can.
all they would
Yeah.
do for us.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I just said my piece.
And
Thank you.
I just want to publicly say, Chris, you've been beyond patient and, really working well with our committee and with all the change agents and trying to get bids and everything else. I never envy business directors at school.
There is a certain degree of patience required, isn't there?
Yeah.
So I just
But
want
it's moving forward now, so
Yeah.
that's getting exciting.
So let's just talk about why this took so long. In the very beginning, did you first contact Advanced Energy?
We
But-
did, yes.
And they said, we don't do we don't do insulation or something?
No, they
Oh, they are doing the insulation.
they came in.
They don't
and
do the doors.
Right, they don't do the doors.
Okay.
But they came in and did two
Yeah, we
quotes for
got
the
that
building.
quote
Yeah.
right off. Okay.
I guess really what takes a long time is that we're just one customer and maybe not their biggest, you know what I mean? So, but they must just be inundated with clients, you know, every day. I mean, I'm guessing anyway, I don't really know, but, and so they're busy enough where these things, you know, something that would take a normal person a couple of days to do, it just drags on for months.
They don't
and
even get to it. for a
many
while.
months, you know,
Yeah.
it's not just like, oh, it took a month, it takes
Yeah.
6 months.
Okay.
And sometimes you
Well,
just
that's
have
why
to
we get
chase these
started
people
on it
down,
now.
you know?
Okay, so we did everything correctly, it just, they were just so booked that it took a long time.
Because it really did feel like a learning curve for us as well, on trying to figure
Sure.
this out.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, now, we have a much better idea
Yeah.
now. I think we're still learning, but, yeah.
You know, and I sent the program expediter list. This is the,
Yeah, we have that.
okay. So I don't know, when we talk to Nick, you might want to ask him, you know, which one of these firms, in other words, you start working with more than one of them, then, you know, maybe one of them is going to move faster than the other one. And maybe you get to know the personalities, and you know they're really good with insulation, and these guys are better with.
Right,
Building
he
controls,
said, you
something
know,
like that.
like it's not really his place to say.
Yeah, that's probably
But
for me
he,
for sure.
but he did say that he's heard a lot of good things about advanced energy. And then Gary, when I mentioned it to Gary, he was like, yeah, and he talked to Scott McCarthy about it, and then he emailed me back, and he's like, yeah, we just used them at Town Hall for a lighting project, and they were great. So they're gung ho to use them over there. So too bad we didn't, like, that's what I want to understand is why we didn't use them in the first place. And I guess we just didn't know. Like, I never saw that list of
Program expeditor
vendors
list. Mhm.
until like recently.
Okay.
So I think maybe we just didn't tell Gary.
Well, and now you know,
Right,
you know, going in for the next round.
yeah.
When is the insulation getting installed?
We were assured August.
Okay.
When do you start back up with kids?
And this is
The
both,
last week of
both
August.
schools? Both schools
No.
or
Just at Hopkins.
Hopkins.
Yeah. There will be some door replacement and door sealing at the elementary school, but as far as insulation goes, Hopkins was in far worse shape than the elementary school.
As far as other things are concerned, pipe insulation and the things on this list, is Hopkins in worse shape all the way around?
I would say so, yeah, again, just because a lot of these things didn't exist when Hopkins was built, or, you know, it could have just been that oil was so cheap back then that nobody really worried about it.
Well,
you
it
know?
may be since the competitive grant is a lot higher than our designation grant, maybe we could get a whole bunch of these things
Mhm.
done, and maybe even at the public safety building also.
Which is the public safety building?
What?
Which
It's the one right behind us.
The
It's the police
Police
station
and fire station.
and fire
On East
station,
Street.
right behind us on East Street.
Oh, I don't remember to
Yeah.
seeing that one.
Yes, that's where our police and fire trucks are.
It's not the new building?
It's
That is
not,
in,
it's not that new anymore.
I mean, it's sort of new,
It's sort of new, so it's already no good?
I guess so.
I
Wow.
think it
They're
was
talking
built
about the one on
before
East
2000.
Street.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah,
Oh, so it's like
yes.
25 years old.
Well, I don't know, I'd have to check the date on that, but it,
Close to the
The
elementary school.
technology's
age.
changed so.
Yeah.
Oh, so
to
it's
do
not
that.
very new. Maybe
In
they-
comparison of Hopkins, is pretty new.
Well,
Yeah, but
anyway,
it's
Well,
like
yeah.
anyway,
I don't know.
Hopkins at 70 years old,
right,
and a lot of the technologies have changed.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
public safety is in dire
Yeah.
need of insulation
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah,
Welcome.
thank you both,
Thank you.
My pleasure.
appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Nice to meet you all, and
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're moving forward steadily and in advance. Yeah.
Thank you.
We are as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's help with the tailwinds you have provided. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Good night.
You're done.
Oh, okay.
Just,
Okay.
let's stay in touch.
Absolutely.
If I don't hear
yeah.
from you like in the next week, I'll probably email you like, have we heard from Kyle?
Yes, well, I'll keep in contact with Kyle as well, just to, if he said in August, installation, I mean, you're talking 3 weeks away.
Right, but it'd be
So-
nice, this other money that we can spend, it'd be nice if
Oh,
we could
absolutely,
also
yeah.
get that work
We'd
done
like
this
to
summer.
have the pricing for that.
Like
and,
get done with
and
our
now-
designation grant this
Mhm.
summer.
Sure.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank
Thanks,
you
guys.
so much.
Have a great night.
Okay, you too.
too.
All right. So do you guys have anything you want to say
Well,
about that? Are we all set?
Yeah.
So, do you, and did you catch what this
Yeah.
is?
Yeah.
So this guy, I guess Eversource could do a lot more for us than we knew. And this man, Nick Petipas, who's a consultant for Eversource, energy consultant, is more than happy to do some things for us. I'm not exactly sure what yet, but let's get him here and find out. So, I'm gonna have him for August.
Good.
All right, so we're done with that. Approved June minutes. Anybody want to make a motion? Somebody make a motion to approve.
I mean, I make a
Okay.
motion to approve the minutes.
Second?
Second?
Okay. All in favor?
Oh, hi. Yeah.
Mhm. So you wanted to, Catalina, you wanted to talk about doing another composting promotion.
Yeah.
And you also noticed the sign is the.
What happened with the sign? Did you see it?
Well, I went over
Adaptation.
there and it's definitely gone. The woman working at the transfer station didn't know.
Yeah.
She did say that it really took a beating from the wind.
Yeah, I know.
And
Yeah.
they, at one point where we had put it up, they had to move it over on the other side of the gate because when the gate closed, it was in the way. So, so she didn't know what happened to it. She just said, maybe it blew away.
Yeah.
And so I called the office, talked to Beverly. She called Patrick, asked everyone, does anyone know what happened to their banner? And the feedback she got was it really got beat up by the wind. It got torn at one point.
Yeah.
And I said, well, do you think maybe they just threw it away? She goes, no, nobody. She goes, we think maybe it just blew away. Like it gets really windy over there. And
Yeah. It's all right.
I know, it was kind of
yeah.
expensive, but
Well, do you remember who printed it up for us?
Here, actually I don't. I thought I was the
Was it Amherst Printing?
I thought
Okay.
I think it is. I have the invoice.
Yeah.
Sometimes on a second banner, maybe
yeah, I think it
there's-
was
But
Yes,
I repeat it.
Well, I'm just saying if
Yeah.
you're thinking about that.
No.
No. I
don't think so.
have another dream.
Okay, so,
Is
So
to
what do you
s-
think?
What is this dream? Is to see if we can get all Hadley into compost. Yeah, I know. 5,000
trying.
5,000 families or something like that.
It's about 5,200 people.
Yeah, it's kind of like saying, why don't we get everybody doing compost? How? Well, we have the transfer station here, plus the U.S. System that
USA.
USA that they offer compost.
curbside.
Curbside, right.
For an upcharge.
Of
So
course.
people will have to pay
Unfortunately,
more.
it's $15 per month for
Additional to pick up your
to
compost.
pick up the compost. So, but if we create a campaign like donate it for the good of the environment, could you give $15 per month to get all your compost pick up? And kind of like my wish will be like have a really feedback for the community. We are in, and maybe in 2, 3, 5 years we have all Hadley
So,
composting.
but wait, you're rushing through the outreach part.
Yeah.
How would we get this out to people and what would we be asking them to do?
we will, how we will get, I was thinking like if we have a flyer that it can be sent when they send the thing for the taxes, so to all residents, everybody.
Well, that's not,
No,
not
that's
everybody pays
just the
taxes.
homeowners.
That's only
Right.
homeowners.
Okay, thank you. That's the first.
I mean, that's a lot, I mean, there's not a ton of rental property in Hadley, so that's,
How,
I think there are, I have to do this every year for the application, it's how many, the word, like residences there are, and I think it's like 2,500.
well, the
Something
campaign will be Hadley residents.
Well, it would go to Hadley homeowners.
Yeah.
That's who it would go to.
Yeah,
I mean,
at least if we start with something like that. It's kind of like create a conscious to everybody that there is something that we can do. There is something that, and as a community, we can come together and do something. Why do you trust?
no. I love your attitude. I love it, and that would be wonderful.
It's a
Like,
dreamer, but
Yeah,
Is this-
yeah,
is
you know.
this, this would be something you would want everyone to sign up for? What about people who compost on their
Well,
own?
no.
But then,
yeah.
then
Then
we
you-
already, so if we can keep track of who is composting already,
Uh-huh.
so perfect, we start already with 500
Maybe we should
families.
add it
who-
to the census.
Well, here's the thing. I happen to know.
Yeah, something.
No, that's an
No,
interesting
it's-
idea.
All right,
it
well,
is-
wait a minute.
I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
Right now, the Board of Health and the bylaw committee are working on hauler regulations,
No.
which can get very, very involved, or it can be simple. But the idea is that a lot of things that Hadley is not paying any attention to whatsoever right now would automatically start getting paid attention to, such as who's getting curbside pickup of their trash, who's using the trash. I mean, the law is everybody has to dispose of their solid waste properly, and everyone is supposed to recycle, including businesses. So we're also, I talked to, what's her name, Kyla Lubriel,
Yeah.
finally
With
about.
the Conservation Commission?
Yeah, but she's also on the bylaw committee. So we had a nice conversation about the recycling bylaw, which right now it's super simple and it only says that only residents, it only applies to residents, which is ridiculous. Businesses are supposed to be recycling also. So the state actually provides a template for towns that are working on their, who need to develop their hauler regulations. It's a template, basically fill in the blanks. And one of the sections is mandatory recycling. So an updated recycling bylaw could actually be in the hauler regulations. So to what you're talking about, once you have hauler regulations, the big deal and why you want that is to ensure that they're going to offer the services to residents and businesses that they need, which right now would be trash and recycling. Maybe what we want them to do is also have to offer curbside compost pickup. And that would be a way
Yeah.
to let people know that that's available.
You know, it's interesting with your push because there's a lot of places like Panera and others where they will donate some of their baked goods, if it's 2 or 3 days old, to the Amherst Survival Center or other places. So it's really interesting how people are sort of cleaning up.
Right, it isn't just composting. I mean, it's
Less
what
food
we're,
waste.
Right.
Less food
Right.
waste.
Keeping it out of
We
the
want-
trash.
Yeah.
well, and the
Yeah,
other
that's
thing is the
important thing
schools.
is keep it out of the trash,
Right.
because that produces gases, and we are consuming that gases, and this is like, it's affecting humans. So if there's a
It's also
simple
just
thing
so
that
much waste.
the
Catalina,
community-
would you consider talking to the PTO about, collecting food waste at lunch time?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Because if we could get the schools to, you know, I mean, I talked to them about that a couple of years ago, and it was like,
When so many of the schools, I think all the schools in Franklin County are doing composting, which is amazing. They've always been a real leader with this.
well, I don't know if they're all actually composting, but they are collecting their their food waste and
Yeah.
sending it to somebody to
Because
compost.
I know I have 2 compost piles. Some of the neighbors also toss their
Yes.
waste there.
Right,
I
right.
don't know, do you compost?
Mm-hmm.
So, but the thing is like, the goal, the intention, the goal is to call the attention about something that we can do,
Right.
that everybody can do and make a difference.
Yeah.
And it's like join kind of the party, join the community. We are together in this. It's create community,
Yeah.
create good in the community. And I know that I understand that maybe like we have 5,000 people and only 500 do it. But then we keep in second year, oh, maybe 1,000.
Well, it'd be
do it.
interesting to know who's already composting.
Right. That's
know,
why
I
we
mean-
need is to have data for that. And that's
I
why
mean,
I'm
how many
thinking-
people that use the transfer station are bringing their kitchen waste?
Exactly, that's
you
why,
know?
like, yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of the problem in town right now, is we don't know who's doing what.
Yeah.
And they are still doing the composting at the transfer
Mhm,
station. All of that happens every week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I wonder if Solid Waste Solutions has any sense of,
Who?
or- yeah, well, or even, what do the numbers look like? Are we saving 50 pounds from going into the trash?
That's great,
I
yeah.
don't
Or
know.
100 pounds? I don't know, that could be something to look at.
That's a good
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we might be in better shape than we think. There
Yeah.
might be more composting going on than, like, do all of you guys compost?
Yes. Yes.
It's an inspiration. It's an inspiration that,
A lot of people do. I mean, you might not know this, but quite a few people do.
I know.
A
I mean,
lot of
let's-
people do.
It's
They
really
do.
Yeah.
easy to
They
do
do.
once you get, do you live in a house or an apartment or?
Like a 2-unit rental house.
Generally, I go after the renters, because a lot of homeowners, it's,
They don't want to deal with it.
they can just dump it out back, and you know, but the renters are the ones that,
Plus, the renters don't necessarily always know how to compost.
Well, so that's
So
what I'm
then
gonna
you
tell
get,
you.
you
Yeah.
get,
Right.
That we have Earth Machine compost bins through a grant. I get them at cost, and then we're selling them to residents for $25.
Okay.
I mean, the retail, they're like 120.
These are the nice big
Yep.
ones.
Okay, cool.
So,
that's
One-
why
You
like,
can have
one
one more
compost-
today.
yes, that's why
Composter at a
if we
time.
can have a data.
So
that-
write
that-
this
and
down.
Yeah.
People start to know.
um,
1% of the
I'm sorry,
community.
I'm drawing blanks.
Oh, in 2
What am I,
years.
what's my?
30% of the
Recycling.
community. So it's like
Yeah,
get
Hadley
everybody
Recycling
aware
Partners.
Hadley
and
Recycling.
Hadley Recycling, COORD at
Hmm.
Gmail.
some kind of survey?
Yes, exactly.
You know, your idea, I think it was your idea to put it on the
So
annual
email me and tell
survey?
me that you
It's
want
pretty
one.
brilliant.
Perfect.
And the way to
And
get
if they
it is
fill it out,
we're
maybe they
storing
get
them
like
at
a
the
free
DPW down
packet
Middle
of
Street.
pollinator
Okay.
flower seeds or
And
something.
so we'll set up a
You know,
time
like you
to
could
meet
Yeah.
there.
incentivize a test.
You gotta get it from me, not the DPW
Okay.
people, we're just storing it there. So usually,
I just dumped my compost back in my
Just
yard.
about everybody I know
Okay.
who
There's
owns
nothing more exotic than that.
compost, I think you should target the renters.
Mhm.
well, that's
I mean,
what
I
I'm
don't
telling,
know anyone who does it.
I don't wanna be the one to do it, I want,
Yeah.
you know, figure out, it's a great
It's a
idea.
valid idea.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyway,
I think
we'll-
so too, because
In some
we're just kinda at
afternoon,
the
we'll meet
mercy of-
over there.
At the mercy of our landlord,
Mhm.
it says, we're gonna pick up your trash and recycling, so we
Mhm.
said, okay. But another thing too about the schools, I feel like that's also a good idea, because if you do it at the schools and teach the students about it,
Yes.
they'll tell their families,
Yes.
so that's a good way
Yeah.
to,
Yes.
an easy way
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Well, and they're just growing up doing it, so
Yeah.
that once they're adults, they'll just automatically do it, and they'll can bug their parents to do it.
Yeah,
And so
I'm
everybody
excited.
knows this is Maddie, who teaches at UMass.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
And then Susan in the middle, and then
Yeah, we
Tony
know
on the
that.
end.
So
Yeah.
why are you here, Maddie? Just,
I'm a PhD student at UMass, and I met Jack at the climate discussion group at the library,
Uh-huh.
and he told me about this group. So.
Oh, cool. All right, yeah, so, and with the bin, I mean, I'll tell you how to do it, but it comes with a nice instruction booklet, and it's pretty animal-proof. If you
Okay,
put it
cool.
together properly, your
Yeah.
landlord shouldn't have any problem
Okay.
with
But
it.
speaking of animals, that's actually one of people's biggest concerns.
I know, the smell and animals. Well, the thing about it is,
Thank you.
I don't know what animals they think, like, it's chipmunks and stuff.
Well,
It's like
possums.
we get bears.
Skunks? Yo, do you
We
get bears
do.
going through yours?
We do.
I haven't
I've
seen
never
bear
had a
in
bear
mine
mess
yet.
with
I
mine.
do wonder about chipmunks, squirrels, maybe.
I
Rats.
discovered
I
a skunk
have
in
yet
mine one
to
day.
encounter rats, so thank
I just put the
goodness.
lid back on and I thought,
If
I'm
I
never
did,
coming
I-
out here in the evening again.
Well, we had a rat that was turning
But
over
mine
a
is
couple
old,
times.
I have
And
no
had
bottom
this
on it. And when
That's
it was
wonderful.
given to me, some
Three-legged
animal had
dog.
already chewed a hole that big in
They
the
do
side.
chew, they do chew.
So it's like, it's an open door, you know, I put rocks in there, try to block it off. But I don't really
Really, it's
care
not like-
if some animals want to eat part of the vegetable scraps in there, go for it. I mean, you don't put any meat or
Yeah.
grease
Yeah.
in there, so I don't know that bears are all that interested in carrot tops and,
Yeah.
No, they're
You know.
interested in your berry
Onion
Well,
skins
skins.
and
you know,
stuff.
we had the drought up until a couple of days ago, and there were a lot of animals really needing the water. So that's one reason they were coming in for it.
right, you know, they're, my son lives in Deerfield now, he sent me a picture. They have a big old apple tree in their backyard, and there's this bear sitting up in the apple tree,
Yeah.
just munching
Yeah.
away. So anyway,
Anyway, so
So-
that's one idea that I think like.
I think we all agree that it's a great idea.
It's getting the community together, getting some data for the community, and to be able to do something that it really has an impact.
Well, there's also, I mean, you're tapping into like the emotional level of it, but
Mhm.
there's also the like, what I was talking about, hauler regulations and stuff like that. You can't just like, rah, let's all compost. People have to have a way,
Mhm.
you gotta, it has to be easy for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, have you called USA and you know for a fact that they will pick up compost in Hadley? They told you that?
Yeah,
Okay.
they sent me an email.
And what do
with
they
that.
do with it?
I didn't ask.
They take it up to Martin's Farm.
Martins?
I just don't know.
Yeah, and if you've never been to Martin's Farm, it's absolutely amazing in Greenfield.
At least we think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's football sized with the
It is.
composting they're doing.
And did you know that he's not,
Yes, I
Yeah,
know.
it's
They
for
moved.
sale.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I hope someone buys it.
yeah. His best friend neighbor is running it now and maybe considering buying it. But anyway, it's a great place. It's awesome.
So how do we move this forward?
Well, I'm telling her to work it up and then come.
Well, I will say like we create a survey, and if it's possible to send it with the.
Like
Let's
how-
start with the taxes, next bill of taxes.
So
or-
asking people,
To
are you
fit-
composting? Are
Yeah.
you interested in composting?
Right, yeah, and then they treat me like have all Hadley residents composting.
So the tax bill is one way to get it to people.
Yes.
But also the annual survey, what Marion suggested,
Uh-huh.
is another way where it
What
goes out
annual
to
survey?
all this annual census that we do
Oh,
at
Yeah,
the
that
start
would
right.
of
be
the
great,
year.
yes, yeah.
If they, I
The
don't know,
census goes to everyone.
I don't know, is Jessica Spanknable in charge of the census
don't
or
know.
who?
I don't know, will
I
you
don't
look
know.
into that? Because that's
Mhm.
one way.
Because that's one way, one simple thing
Yes,
of,
simple thing,
do
right?
you
that they-
compost?
Right.
And it could just be, they could like do a little, we could have a little QR code.
QR code,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Maybe.
Well, and maybe several questions. If,
Oh, yeah,
if
yeah.
collection of compost was available for curbside with your
Mhm.
trash company, would you be interested? Are you interested in a backyard
Mhm.
composter? You know, like pick their brains,
Mhm.
like several
Yeah.
questions,
Yeah.
so we really get a good idea.
But just a small number and keep them simple.
Yeah.
I don't know, they don't have much space on that form.
Okay, but we want to ask enough questions,
Yeah.
is what I'm saying, is Are you doing it?
Oh, you were thinking to put it in the form?
On
Oh,
the
I was-
form itself.
Oh, I was thinking
That's what I
to
was
send a
thinking.
flyer.
Oh.
Well,
No, I don't think you can put it on, because that's
It's
a,
an official,
that's a
Okay.
federal
but I,
form.
Alright.
but I thought maybe
But
a
it could go-
separate sheet
Yeah,
with
for
like
the sheet, right.
compost initiative.
Yeah, exactly.
HCC,
Right, Hadley.
Hadley
Yeah.
Climate Change Compost Initiative,
Do you want her to take
you
notes?
know,
Are you gonna
scan
remember?
this survey
And-
and if you fill it out, you get
I
a
will.
free packet of pollen, or come pick up
Okay,
your
well, I'll take notes.
pollinator seed packet.
That sounds good. Write it down.
Right.
Let's write it down and then we will do it.
so maybe next meeting we can develop some of the questions,
Yeah, let's do it.
formalize that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I thought we were doing that right now.
No,
No.
we have too many other things to talk about.
No, we don't. Okay. Do a survey.
I will ask
um,
Jessica or whoever does the annual,
Yeah,
I will ask
Include
if
in
it's
the
possible to
census.
include that in the name of the.
because that's mailed home, I believe. It goes to everybody?
Because I rent and
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in an apartment building, because it's counting the people who live here.
Yeah,
I
not
think
just
that's
homeowners.
excellent. Let's see if
yeah,
we can get.
that's really a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Also, I was thinking, and this is a separate thing, and maybe it's, but we don't have like, except for the Asparagus Festival, we really don't have any annual, what other annual
Well, there's something going on
events
this
do we
weekend.
have here in Hadley?
In the common, what do they call it? The
No,
beer.
that's a beer festival, that's,
Okay.
yeah. But, you know, the Asparagus Fest is incredibly expensive for New England Public Media to put on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It, talking to one of the promoters, they were looking at like $80,000 between what they have to pay for police,
Wow.
fire,
Yeah.
toilets,
Yeah.
banners, advertising. And then, this was the first year they weren't able to do it. There was talk that they might do a sweet corn festival, but I don't know if they're gonna have the wherewithal to do that.
Gotcha.
So that's really too bad, because it
Yeah.
means all those farmers
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
had actually picked
But
ahead.
Mary, what was your point for bringing that up? Do you mean as a way of promoting?
As a way of bringing or advertising, because remember like very early on, you and I we were getting signatures for something, and we went to the Asparagus
Yeah.
Festival.
Well, that one year when we were pushing the declaration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was that.
That was
That was that.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, you know, like, are there other opportunities to just talk to people about
There-
composting
yeah,
or
And,
there's
and what
that,
I'm planning is something, it can be 5 years. It's not like, oh, we'll do it 1 month and then
Yeah.
one day. It's something of like, it's a something that grows and it's just like a turtle, turtle, you know,
Yes.
walking.
Well, and the
but
other thing
getting
is-
everybody doing something that it really affects the environment.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and definitely. I mean, we really want to keep food out of the trash. But also, as the bylaw committee develops these hauler regulations, that's gonna change things in this town. We'll know a lot more about what people are doing. And,
Changing the what? The
well, right now, we don't have any hauler regulations at all.
hauling.
Companies that pick up trash in this town are not licensed, and they're supposed to be.
Okay.
And when they get a license, that begins the process of,
Okay.
you have to agree to do this, that, and the other thing.
Okay.
They're supposed to be licensed, that's the law according to the state?
State.
Okay.
I mean, like, you don't get arrested if you don't have hauler regulations, but they want us to.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's like other mass DEP things.
Okay.
Well, I know Leverett has regulations on who can pump septic from the town. And
Exactly.
There's
In
3
order
or
to
4
pump septic, you
companies
have to be
that can pump
licensed.
septic and other people cannot come
Hadley
in.
does have that.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
most towns have hauler regulations because it's a way, number one, you want to make sure the people are offering the right services and also that they are doing the correct thing with what they pick up
Mhm.
and not just,
Okay.
I mean,
Well, back to your promotion.
Yes.
Mrs. Duncan at the school had the students do the Keep Hadley Clean
I like
posters.
that,
They might
yes.
be able to do a set of
Mhm.
compost
Ah,
posters.
That's a
well,
great
maybe
idea.
if we could get them to do that, they'll go, wait a minute, why don't we you know, we should collect
Yeah.
kitchen waste at
That's a
schools.
wonderful
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah,
I'll talk to her.
thank you. Yeah.
Did we go over the landfill solar?
No.
Well, as Michael's away.
Okay, Michael's away.
As far as
so
I know, it's just still
Michael
plodding
is
along.
away,
We're still
and
working on the
he
site plan.
will report when he gets back. Okay. And are there any updates?
Well, I told you what happened to the composting banner.
Okay.
And as far as I
Uh,
know.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
on
we
the,
get that.
that's on the agenda. Okay, got it. Okay.
I think if anything new was going on with the solar on the landfill, Michael would have
Okay,
Yeah.
w-
let us
hopefully
know,
he'll
but it's-
report back.
They're just working on the
Yeah.
site plan.
Okay, good.
Does anyone here happen to know what's happening with the solar on the roof? It looks like it's all installed.
Looks like.
Okay.
I didn't know if they're producing.
Don't know that. I
Okay.
assume they
All
are.
right.
Business looks. You have to like, you
It's
know,
solar
check
on
it
the
off on
senior
our,
center.
yeah. Oh, on the, right, I meant that.
Going too far, yeah.
Right, it's very nice. Gratifying
Yeah.
to check that off the list.
So, next meeting, anything you
Uh,
guys would like to have on the agenda?
Oh, right.
Well, certainly we can finalize brainstorming questions for the
Mhm.
survey for compost.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it's not only a survey, it's an invitation to do it.
But that in itself
Yeah.
is inviting you to do it, I
And
think.
probably,
And we could put something on there about the
Yeah.
compost bins are available.
Right.
Michael Solar.
we'll
Well,
go back to
I
that.
think I agree with you. It needs to be those two phases, the
Mhm.
invitation,
Yeah.
and then we can formalize questions that will appear on a survey, but I think
Don't you
both
think
have
we
to
should
happen
do the
together.
survey
And then
first.
hopefully we'll get this guy, Chris.
Well, I don't know.
Or Nick.
Nick.
That's what I was thinking.
Did you say that you were hoping to invite Nick from Eversource for the
I'm
next meeting?
definitely gonna invite
We're just
him, yeah.
putting that in.
Yep.
Okay.
So next meeting, we'll talk more about, well, and hopefully by the next meeting, we'll have some well, I'm sure we will, information from Chris D. about using the balance, you know.
Well, and,
2,000.
you know, were they successful in installing the insulation? You know, people have made a number of commitments to the school. Let's just make sure that those happen as well.
Right, well, they'll probably be doing.
So
that.
you'll be in touch with Chris. He doesn't
Yeah.
have to necessarily come back
No, he
for a
doesn't have to
meeting.
come back.
Okay.
And so I think we talked about having Gary Berg and maybe Chief Spankney will come to the next meeting to talk about public
Gary.
safety building.
Gary Berg. And Chief Mike. I'd have to look up Spank Nagel on my email. Okay.
Well, and also getting the new quote from Advanced Energy for the lighting upgrade at wastewater. And then we're gonna talk more about the composting.
You
Yeah, I
got
wrote that down.
You got that?
Okay.
Yep. Good.
So I just wanna have it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all
'Cause we
there.
gotta type up the
I think I
agenda.
put everything down.
Okay,
Okay.
anything else?
Public comments?
Public comment?
Yeah, public comment, anybody?
Well, I do have one, I have just one comment, but before I start, is anyone here on the solar landfill committee, any of you?
No, Michael
Michael is.
Doctor is. He's our representative on that committee.
I don't think they've met since April, that's,
I think they're waiting for answers from Eversource.
okay, my comment would be, I'm getting concerned about who authorized Michael Doctor to negotiate, and Jane Nivenspeth to negotiate with farmers, Joe Sakowski, to subsidize or support agri solar. This has been,
Wait, what are you talking about?
Well, don't.
Okay, I just don't know what he's.
Yeah.
well, that's exactly my point. This was mentioned by Michael Doctor in the April meeting, and he admitted during that meeting that it wasn't on the agenda, but he said there was some problems with the lines. He said, but we were talking with Joe Sakowski, and he said, and Michael Doctor said, well, Joe's not interested in contributing at all. Next thing you know, in June, Jack said that a farmer was interested, in supporting, contributing to this extra line that we supposedly need. And I don't know where that, and then at the select board meeting, Jay Nevin-Smith reported that Joe Sykowski would be contributing, and she says things are moving forward. That's never been on the agenda. No negotiations with any farmer has never been on any agenda.
So,
Well, wait a minute.
oh, no, don't.
Okay.
It's public comment, so we won't respond.
I just have a question. Are you talking about these things have taken place at the solar committee meetings?
Right, there's negotiations going on with Joe Sykowski. That's what I
Okay.
understand. Jack said it himself. He didn't say Joe, but he said
I
the
don't know
farmer.
anything about
Michael
that.
Doctor and Jay Nevin-Smith have said these negotiations are going on with Joe Sykowski, apparently in secret. It's never been authorized. Who authorized Michael Doctor to negotiate with Joe Sykowski? It's never been talked about at a public meeting. How is that possible?
Tony, we can respond next month. You know that. That's how it works with public comment.
Okay, I understand
Okay.
that, but I'm putting it out there for the public to understand that this is not possible. What's happening, it's not possible on a transparent basis. These negotiations are going on behind the scenes. And that's not the way, it's not the right way to do things. It's just not. And it shouldn't be done that way. And why is it being done that way? Michael Doctor knows about it, Jack knows about it. And my point is, if it was in a public session, and this is my final point, and I'll wrap it up, is that in no way, shape, or form should the town of Hadley support, subsidize, or partner with any type of dual solar. It destroys farmland. And I'm glad to discuss at length why
Yeah, I
that
don't
is the
even
case.
know.
Yeah.
Okay.
It destroys farmland because it covers the farmland. And we don't know much about dual use solar because it hasn't been studied because it's a new technology. But we do know that within 7 years.
Tony, your time is up. Your 3 minutes.
Yeah, no, I get your drift. I just,
Well, you kept on interrupting me, so I think
Yeah,
I should
sorry.
have some time back. How many times?
Go ahead, you can go. Finish up this minute.
Okay, dual use solar, we know that within 7 years, covered land loses its hydrology. In other words, that topsoil will be gone. This is even worse because it's not only covered land, it's heated from the plastic that's on top of it. That's topsoil that's going to be gone. Now, I understand why farmers do it. It's a great deal for them. Financially, it's fantastic. But the town should not be supporting that. And if that is the case, that we'd be subsidizing or partnering with dual use solar, that's a good reason not to do this project at all because
Okay.
it destroys agriculture. I can talk with you about it afterwards. and
okay,
explain
because in
exactly.
order to get this on the agenda next time, I have to understand what.
This should be on, that's my
What?
point. This has been going on.
What?
Okay, we got it.
It's been
All
going
right.
on with the solar landfill.
Okay,
We
let's
got
just talk
it, we got
afterwards.
it.
Okay. No taker for next meeting. gonna
I'll
do
be
it?
here, I can do it.
Okay.
I will not be at the next meeting.
Okay. All right. It's 8:23. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
Okay.
All right.
Meeting
Thank you.
adjourned.